Welcome to the Burning Pallets podcast, sponsored by Texsource. Here's your host, Ryan Boland.
Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan here with the Burning Pallets podcast, day 3, Long Beach. Been an interesting couple of days here at the M&R booth. To my right is Mike Hoey.
Hey, everybody.
Getting tired of introducing you.
I know.
It's been a lot of introductions.
He looks at me and is like,
one
more time. One more time.
And in the center is Kieth with International Coatings, but specifically his name is not spelled traditionally like Keith. It is Kieth, which is, I don't know why, but I mean, it still sounds the same.
I can tell you why. My father's birth certificate was spelled wrong, and I'm a junior.
Oh, okay. So his was, gotcha. Yep.
So basic stuff. They call him Gary, which is really my first name, and Keith is what they call me.
Interesting. I before E, except after C.
So you've been correcting
and
people
now
all your life, or you just let
my
it go?
life from elementary school all the way through my career, driver's licenses, everything.
The I before E does not count for you.
Well, it is I before E.
I before E.
Yes. So he is following the rules. The rest are wrong. That's the
True.
irony.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
I think there's an English-German version. Like one is right this way or that way.
Yeah. In the German language, let's see. Let me think. You pronounce the first letter, like Colonel Seymour, it was Seimer.
Okay.
And so when I saw his name, I'm like, Colonel Seymour? And he's like, you know you're German. So, yeah, because I have German heritage, partly. So, yeah, you learn those subtleties.
Anyways, International Coatings here at the trade show with us. How's the show going for you guys? It's if I know Friday and Saturday. Friday was massive and super busy. Today's a little slower, but
yeah, today's slower. Friday was absolutely massive. Saturday was close. I thought close to it, as expected with the rain.
Yeah, you told us that.
I thought a lot of people would come on Friday and Saturday, and then maybe be a little lighter on Sunday. Sundays are normally lighter. But I think it's a little extra lighter today.
And it never rains in California.
Nope.
Except when we come.
When we came here, yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, we're stuck inside all day, so I didn't care.
No, I love weather. I mean, anybody who knows me is like, I'm keeping track of the weather. We get so much sunshine for so long. When the weather's coming, it's like, oh, cool.
So you would hate living in like the valley down in Phoenix, because it's just like, it's going to be hot today, hot and sunny.
Yeah, Vegas, Phoenix, all that stuff. I don't like that either.
So what excites you, like when you hear there's going to be weather, like maybe it's 2 or 3 days from now?
I think it started when I was in my teens and 20s, where I was skiing all the time and was local skiing, like places in Big Bear and stuff here in California. So we always kept our eye on that. And then with the droughts and the water and all that kind of stuff, we are always kind of keep an eye on it. When you're getting notices in your mail about stop watering your lawns and stuff like that, you kind of start getting a little bit more attentive to the water.
We are in the sustainability state, right? The green state.
They can sustain a rash of fires and droughts, and then other states have too much water.
Right. Yeah. So we were really happy last year when there was a lot of water came in, more than they can handle.
Did it fill up some of the reservoirs?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
Absolutely.
So how long have you been with International Coatings? Because we're Texsource is East Coast. We're on the West Coast right now. We typically talk to Kent Hudson with International Coatings, who is our rep. He would not come on the podcast. He was nervous, but that's fine.
He declined.
He put me in front of the firing squad instead of himself.
But he knew you were going to do well, so that's why he did it. But how long have you been with International West? You're on the West Coast, and
so I've been with International Coatings for 16 years, and I'm the West Coast Regional Sales Manager from Canada down to Central America, towards Denver.
Okay.
And that's my stomping grounds.
With you guys are at the show, are you guys showing anything new that's going on, or what you guys?
Well, in our booth, it's just we're screen printers. We make plastisol. That's our bread and butter, and that's still something that we do a lot of, and it's still going on out there. And
it's
I hope to retire as a screen printer, and I think I'll make it.
We've talked to everybody. If you start in if you put one toe into screen printing, you can never get out of it.
I think it's in your DNA.
Yeah.
Definitely in my blood. You know, they talk about microplastics and all this stuff across the world. It's probably in my pores.
Microplastisols.
Yeah.
Right? It's in your...
So we always dealt with Sonia, and the people are not going to know who we're talking about, so it might be pointless. But I just want to point out that Sonia was always great. And you don't deal with her because you're West Coast.
I mean, I dealt with her.
Yeah.
You know, we're still in the same company, and we cross our inventories and our product between.
But I just want to put out there that because international coasting, you guys are going to see this. Sonia was always a great person to deal with. Miranda, who's at Texsource, loved talking to her, dealing with her. But just putting out there, Sonia was great. We all liked her. So hopefully she sees this at some point.
Yeah. Everybody's going to concur with you. Everybody agrees with you.
Yeah, that's a great testimony.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, we're a family-owned company, 67 plus years, and
based out of the U.S.
Based out of the U.S. We have 2 locations, and I really enjoy working there. It is truly a family.
Yeah.
We all know each other and help each other and know each other's lives and stuff. We're not so big and corporate that we don't know who to answer to and who we're reporting to. It's an open door policy, and I like that.
So some of Mike's favorite inks to mess with your all stuff is the, I mean, it's simple, but it's the bonding agent. The catalyst.
The 900 catalyst.
And the Optilux.
Yeah, the catalyst, it's like Frank's Red Hot. I put that shit on everything. Like, if I'm just scared, and I've been told, like, Mike, you don't have to do that, but, like, my gut tells me otherwise. So, you're printing on nylon. It's not going to stick unless you have some sort of bonding agent. But these new, like, coaches jackets that are polyester, I'm still putting the bonding agent on there. It's worked for so many different applications when I had adhesion problems, and I know it's just for nylon. I'm calling BS. I'm saying that stuff helps, and I may be wrong, it just may be in my head, but it seems like if I have a smooth something the ink can't bite into, that stuff grabs it.
Absolutely.
And so am I right in telling people to use it for that?
It's an insurance policy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you. And I would call someone out that's in this. I could throw a rock at him right now. But I used it in lots of applications, some low cure applications where the material would burn up, and we just found like, hey, this is the magic bullet.
No, it definitely is. We talk about printing on I call it glass. Anything smooth is like a glass. So if you can't grab onto it and get your fingers don't stick to it at all, then Catalyst is going to help you. And t-shirts are more like a carpeting. You can grab onto the fibers and anything that's different than that. Also for flock adhesives, you add a catalyst. It gives you a little extra.
I didn't even think about that.
It helps continue to adhere. And then
I haven't done any flocking in a while.
Right, but it gives you, and also the catalyst it continues to catalyze overnight. So if you're using it. Out of the dryer right away, it's probably not achieved its maximum potential.
That was the rule, like even back in the 80s, like we'll print your satin jackets, but we're going to sit on them for a day and not let them release. But all you have to do is print expensive jackets. I learned the lesson years and years ago, and then have them just crust off and leave a ghost of an image. And you will solve that problem and never go back.
Yeah, it's funny when you do expensive items.
Yes.
How your defect rate decreases.
Yes, exactly.
And cheap T-shirts, your defect rate increases.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and then also, I did sometimes when you have acid wash jeans and stuff like that, you add the catalyst to a print on the acid wash jeans. Got to get washed after printing, so it kind of gives it a more durability, and it'll survive the wash process.
You're dropping some tea here. There's some secrets that I didn't know.
We thought you knew everything, but
No, I'm the first to say that, like, I want to learn, and that's why I enjoy these, because the random chance that we're going to get this little nugget. He's got more nuggets in there too. I don't know how we'll squeeze them out of him, but
it's funny when you talk about experiences, and we've been doing this to different coasts,
different
but we're here together at the same time.
Yeah.
And we can sit here and do this all day long with different, this is how I did that.
Yep.
This is how I did that.
Yeah.
But we still got the job done and got paid for it.
Yeah.
It was kind of reminds me like when I was younger, how much you know. And when you get older, you realize how much you don't know.
Yeah.
And same thing like when your father, when you were 16, you know, you couldn't believe how dumb he was and how smart he got by the time you were 25 and you needed his help and his advice. So same thing with time. Time teaches you to be a little bit more humble and open-minded.
Always listen to your elders.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's wisdom. There's definitely wisdom in there, and you have to continue to be open and you know, I've never. I do know it all, but I no. You have the feeling like I'm in a comfortable place where I can answer most questions. But stuff like where you just said there, like, oh, I never thought of that. The flock adhesive, I totally get it now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's so it's nice to get those things and share those with people that don't want to wait 57 years to discover that, right? I mean,
yeah, no, absolutely.
But it is true what you said about the expensive garments, less defects. Cheap T-shirts, more defects, because you're more careful with the expensive materials. You want to do it right.
Yeah, Ryan does that to me too. Like when we print some of these trade show garments, right? We've got some that, like, if I mess it up the polo, you know, it's a cheap cotton thing. And then he brings like a Joseph A. Bank, you know, shirt, and I see the tag on, it's like $70.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, you know,
I'm
shaking, you know. And I've done this for so long, I shouldn't have a problem, you know. But yeah, I call it the pucker factor.
Absolutely, I use that term.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, there's something people talk about mistakes. You know, accidents happen.
Yeah.
Accidents happen to you. You make a mistake. Your accident was the result of a mistake.
Wow.
Accidents come to you. You don't make accidents, you make mistakes. So.
Right. He's going to be just that analogy alone, I know he's going to be a candidate for what's on this iPad.
Can I look at the iPad?
At the end of the...
I can see it from here now.
It's got a beautiful mountain scene in the back.
I've been forewarned.
I think he warned you a couple nights ago about that oddball question.
Yes, oddball question.
Yeah. But West Coast, East Coast, you would think that we have our own ways of doing things, own inks that we use and prefer. That's not the case. I mean, it's pretty similar both sides. I mean, as far as what inks people prefer. I mean, with International Coatings, you got the cool white, the legacy white, which you would think are some of the staple white inks of International. There's stuff that is used on both the East Coast and West Coast that are very popular. But you would think that they wouldn't be.
Well, I think that there's definitely temperatures can make it, you know, it's more typically warmer on the West Coast. So there's viscosities of the inks that change because of the temperatures. Definitely my coworkers, John and Kent, have their favorites.
Yep.
And I have my favorites. They're both right. Just like screen printing in our industry. We've both been doing this for 40, 50 years, and we have our preferences.
You got your buddy up here staring you down.
He's getting. You're being trolled.
He's West Coast, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I think he's all over the place.
Oh.
Now, did he give you like he was crying gesture? What was that?
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, he
actually
did.
It doesn't.
He did this.
Yeah, he's crying.
I don't know. No, what's that mean out here on the West Coast?
I don't know.
Okay.
So you brought up one thing. Kent has his favorite inks. You have yours, just like our salesman. This salesman likes this chemical over this one or whatever. It's whatever they sell. What is your favorite ink on this side?
For white, with Cool White.
Cool White. Okay.
Cool White.
I like the Cool White 7022.
Now, is it called Cool White because it's got a tinge of blue?
No, it's because it cures at a lower temperature.
Okay. Yeah. But you saw where I was going.
I saw where you're going.
Yeah, that's a cheat that we do.
The optical brighteners?
Yeah, optical brightness. Yeah.
I get it.
So
it just comes out of the container, a little creamier, ready to go. Cures at a lower temperature and flashes well, and it has a soft feel to it, and it's just something I prefer. You know, all the samples in the booth that we had that
are on the wall. That's all. Yeah,
that's all Cool White for the most part.
So that would be like if you were introducing yourself to a screen printer for the first time, you got a cherry here, you're going to give them the cool white.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, when I walk into a shop, you feel the mesh, you feel the tension, you feel the thickness of the emulsion. You kind of get a feel of what you're dealing with and what to present to them.
Yeah.
Are their dryers, sketchy? So cool white cools at a lower temp, so you're probably going to, there's a little insurance policy on the curing on that.
Yeah. And I would have to say that most people, or a lot of people in our industry over the year, aren't going to go to the depth. They're just going to toss you a bucket, take you out to lunch, and go out the door. You see that a lot, right?
Sure. I try not to do that. I try to be there and let's get this. Let's actually test it together.
I think the smart vendors are going to get more of a relationship through sharing and letting them understand that they understand what's going on versus buy our ink, it's better. You know.
No, everybody's got a better ink.
So
yeah, exactly.
Not as good as mine.
But
everybody's got a better ink.
Yes.
You brought up insurance policy. This is way off topic. I probably shouldn't even bring it up because it'll be down a rabbit hole. But I use this in a podcast before. Insurance policies, that's good terminology. Let's just go past it. It's too long to talk about.
No.
Now we're speechless waiting.
Yeah. And
so when my now wife, when we first started dating, I booked a trip for us 1 month in, 2 months in, and I called up my insurance policy so she wouldn't leave me. So it was 4 months later the trip was, it was going to be a fun trip. So she's like, all right, I'm going to stick it out with this guy at least for another 4 months so I can go on this trip.
Yeah.
It was over in Mexico or overseas somewhere. And I called up my insurance policy.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So
she's now my wife, and we're good to go.
Yeah, so
worked out well.
Yeah, I get it now. Yeah, I get it. Before I missed that, I thought you meant insurance. If she left, you'd get the money back for her trip.
No. Actually,
you bought trip insurance.
Trip insurance.
No.
You bought insurance to ensure
she would stay with me. Yeah,
she would stay with you, and then if things really got south, you'd have left her there.
Yeah,
right, and come back and find your own way back.
Yeah.
Right?
But as a side note on insurance policies,
that's funny.
These dating tricks and tips by Ryan, they're gold.
Yeah.
When's the last time you gave her flowers?
It's been a while.
Give her flowers on Monday. You can't. That's your insurance card. You can't go wrong.
She's coming here.
She'll wonder what happened at the trip. Why are you giving me flowers?
Oh yeah.
Which kind of keeps her guessing, and keeps the things going.
She's coming here. She arrives, I think 1:30.
Is there a flower vendor in the?
Not here. It'll be $500 in the trade show.
I got a $21 taco earlier.
The insurance policy. What else was it? I was about to say something else about the insurance policy, but whatever. Now you understand my reference.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
And because I've said this once before on another podcast, but. So let's jump on to something about one stroke. Everybody, it seems like one stroke would have been I don't want to say the first manufacturer to do these low cure inks, right? But it seems like everybody, they were the first ones.
It's a trend, right?
It was a trend or something, yes. But it seems like everybody was chasing that trend maybe, or no?
I think yes. But also there's a couple other factors where it helps bleed resistance. So it made sense, where the lower the cure temp, the less you're going to piss off the polyester.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that, and then there's the ecology part of it, less of a carbon footprint, stuff like that.
Sustainability.
And you can pull that one thing out, or it pisses off the polyester. That's a good one, good reference.
Yeah, I'll probably get in trouble for that one, but
it excites the polyester.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the pissing off polyester better.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I do, but isn't it true, in garment manufacturing, that there's some sort of relative, how hot they cast the dye into the polyester is when it'll release. So cheap polyester garments bleed like a stuck pig. That's an Indiana reference.
No, I use it.
Do you use it? I have a feeling that we say the same little eclectic terms that they all make fun of me. Do you know what a danger noodle is?
No, I haven't heard of the
Okay,
danger
damn
noodle.
it.
That's your
we were
side of the
close.
country.
It's a snake. I mean, okay.
Okay.
But now you can start using that.
Danger noodle, warning, warning.
Yeah.
I don't see that on the trails in the Pacific Coast Trail. Danger
Well-
noodle ahead.
Well, you know
Doesn't
that.
say that.
You know the "Don't Tread on Me"
Yeah.
logo.
Yeah.
Instead of "Don't Tread on Me," you just put "Danger."
Don't step
Noodle.
on my danger noodle.
No, it just says "Danger Noodle."
Okay.
It defines what that is.
All right.
Regardless, so a lot of times it's the garment that you're working with. So higher quality garments don't bleed like a stuck pig.
That's correct.
And so that's a factor you have to play. So if you're forced to print on cheap poly, then you're going to have to take extra measures.
Yep. And I don't even try to pretend to know all the different chemistries and stuff
Yeah.
that is going on across the world, and what dyes they're using, how they're new ways of dyeing it, cheaper ways, better ways, less carbon footprint ways, and
Yeah.
what's coming out of these factories. It's hard to gauge.
Which
Yeah.
is why you need to test your garments.
Yeah.
Right, but I've got
Screen printers.
customers that are doing even cotton.
Adam, there's your
Wet-
buddy.
Yeah,
You're trying to get him on.
yeah,
Where?
Who went to dinner with us?
yeah.
Oh,
And he was great. I mean, it was. Anyways,
what is your favorite part about your job or the industry? Like, when do you feel like, yeah, this is why I do this?
Okay, so when you're in front of a hungry group of people that have been in the industry for a while and they're just stuck or needing to get to a next phase, and they're hungry, they're sponges,
Yeah.
rather than me going to a place and discussing something they don't want to know about. But when you're in a group, in the presence of a team or a group of people that are hungry and are asking questions, and I really feel like I'm doing the industry a service.
So
I feel
kinda
valued. I feel valued.
Kind of like right now.
Unlike now.
Okay. Damn it.
Unlike now.
I'm
I think-
hungry.
I think that's every. I mean, you got. There's like Texsource. I mean, Mike, you love helping people, and
Yeah.
M&R is the same way. That continue to help and the customer to move forward. Because if the customer's not moving forward, then what are we doing here?
Well, like when I've done a lot of seminars, not as many other people, but I've done my share of them, and you get through your spiel that you prepared, and you've got all these, you've got your cheat notes and all that stuff, and towards the end of the seminar, you start getting questions and start to get some hand raising, and then you start to get into the depth.
And you start seeing them like
Yeah.
they're curious and they're
Yeah, they're curious or hungry.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I saw that before.
Yeah.
What if you did this? And I'm like, yep, that'll work too. But here's how I would have attacked that. Just like you and I probably would do something differently. 230 mesh, 200 mesh, 60 mine. There's so many variables, and that's what intrigues me in the industry.
Yeah, and some of those variables, if you go one way, they can end in very similar results.
Yeah.
In other words, I could drop a mesh from a 230 to a 160, or I could just get more emulsion over mesh on the 230,
Yep.
and then kind of achieve. There's so many dynamics in play. It's just like, what's your method for solving this issue?
Right, and that's what's fun, because we haven't had a lot of times to talk and share war stories, but I think that we would have very, very a lot to talk about.
a lot. Yes,
A lot to talk about.
Mike's got.
Well, I can hang out here. If I've got a place to bring my wife and little dog, I'll come do a sabbatical or something.
What's your little dog?
Huh?
What kind of little dog?
Jelly dog is if you took a
Jelly dog.
Jack Rat
Jelly dog.
and a Jack Russell male and bred it with a Chihuahua, that's what I have.
Okay.
It's just kind of like a little pork belly pig with puppy ears that fold down.
So what we found out that's common between us, or Keith and I.
Which blew me away.
Yeah. He has a hard question. So here's my hard question to Mike. Do you know what a Miki is?
No, I've never heard that phrase.
It's a type of a breed of a dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
And no one knows what Mikis are. You never will know. You go look it up. It's a small teacup breed dog, and my parents had them 8-9 years ago when I was growing up. They're dead now.
What happened to those dogs?
They got old.
The dogs are dead.
The dogs are dead. These
you.
dogs live forever.
Yeah,
Not the parents.
Because they're tiny.
Yeah.
Little dogs live forever.
Anyways, what's common? He has Mickeys as well.
Yeah.
And he bred them.
I bred one.
My parents did as well. But they're not a common breed of a dog.
No, they're
What are they?
Papillon, Maltese, Japanese Chin. They get up to, I think the breed standard is at 12 pounds.
Yeah.
And mine, I have 2 now, and one is about 5.5 pounds, and one is 3.5 pounds. So I like the smaller ones.
Same as mine. So the one dog, his
Smaller turds.
Yes, smaller everything.
Yes.
name was
Not the vet bill. It's exactly the same.
Well,
mine were the same. They were probably 6 to 8 pounds. Small dogs. But it was odd that we both had Mickeys.
Did
Yeah,
you
no,
ever-
that was when you mentioned it. I'm like, wait a minute.
So we're both at Long Beach. Texsource is East
I've never
Coast.
met you before.
Never met.
Really?
Never.
Okay.
On Thursday.
And that's a 1 in a million. You don't
Yeah.
get that.
No.
Mickeys.
No.
So you probably had like these small little. You had to feel bad because surely like you stepped on one, here and there.
They're a little bit bigger than bigger than Chihuahuas. Less annoying than Chihuahuas because I want to punt a Chihuahua.
There's some sweet ones, but rare.
Okay, but these dogs are way cuter and nicer. And
yeah, they're kind of like cats. They like to
Yeah.
lounge around.
Yeah.
They only yap when there's a reason to yap, at the mailman or a knock on the door.
Yeah.
My one likes to bark when the driveway gate next door to my house goes.
Yeah.
I don't know how he hears it, but he hears it. But that's the only time he's really.
They're kind of brave dogs too. We named our one dog Rudy. Like the movie Rudy,
Yeah.
the football. So we
Yeah.
named him after that.
Go Irish.
Yeah, 1 in a million. No one out there knows about a Mickey, and you can ask anybody in this show; they have no clue.
When you said something about being brave, so my male is a 3.5 pound, and he runs out. I have a little larger yard for California, and they go out to do their business, and they bark at the squirrels. They're always barking at the squirrels, and bark anytime a tree moves. He thinks there's a squirrel up there, so he's at the window barking at.
Yeah.
But that's the only time, and that's great exercise. Great.
Yeah.
So one night I let him out. To go to bed and let him out once and go back. And he started barking like, anyway. So he's barking and I know he's got something cornered, right? There's a possum or
wow.
something's out there. So,
Yeah.
and he's only 3.5 pounds.
Yeah.
So I run out there and I'm in my pajamas, let's say, and I run out there and he won't come running and he's got something cornered and I don't see it yet.
Yeah.
And he comes running. He finally listens to me and runs past me. And here comes a raccoon on 2 legs.
Chasing them.
Yeah.
Like on 2 legs?
Yeah, he's walking at me like
his-
this. and I'm like backing up. I'm like, he's going after the dog.
Yeah.
And he sees me and he's like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to walk over here. That's what I'm going to do about it. So, talk about brave.
Yeah.
Yeah, raccoons can be savage. I don't trust raccoons.
I'm just worried about the vet bill or rabies
Oh, my
bites
God, yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, these dogs are small, furry. They got nice long hair. They don't shed much. But they were expensive.
I think they don't have fur. They have hair.
Yeah,
They don't
hair.
shed.
Yep.
They're hypoallergenic.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
raccoons, man. I'm telling you, they terrify me. Anything that even looks like a marsupial, I don't even know if they are, but they terrify me.
Right. Well, I have a 3,000-gallon koi pond in the backyard,
Oh,
so I get a
awesome.
lot of
Oh, yeah.
visitors. It's got
Awesome.
a waterfall, catfish. I got turtles and frogs, so I get a lot of visitors.
The raccoons are in there just.
Yeah, and I don't mind that.
and
I really, we're in a desert, so it's kind of an oasis in the San Fernando Valley. So I get hawks, I get heron, I get possum and
Those
raccoons, skunks.
heron, everybody's like, that's a beautiful bird. Watch them like suck down a few little ducklings, and you'll be
Right.
like, this is terrible.
Right.
They're like pterodactyls.
Yeah, and they're crazy because they'll actually like chum into the water to get the fish to come.
Oh yeah.
They're pretty smart that way. So.
Yeah, even the little green herons will fish by throwing something in the water.
Yeah.
They'll take your bait. The little green heron, they don't look anything like the great blue heron.
Yeah.
But I've watched them take some of my bait and then throw it in the water and wait for a fish to come up. And
Yeah.
they're fishermen.
What you do is you get those firecrackers that can go in the water and they still blow up. throw that at it.
The M80s.
And then see if it'll swallow it. And
Yeah, no, I did a lot of deep fishing years ago, and the captains would have these little M80s with sand in them, and to get rid of the seals and stuff like that, just to frighten them away.
because they come up on the back of the boat and hang out. Yeah,
I was yellowtail fishing off of the Catalina Island out there, and we were killing it, yellowtail.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just nailing it, and these big black sea lions just come by and take half your fish.
Yeah.
You got a 30-pound fish on the line, and you come up with a
free
head.
dinner.
Just a head.
So do you just, like, if you took half the fish, do you just, like, when you get it up there, you just kind of cut off that where the bite marks are?
Just
and
get the cheek muscle.
You're gonna eat it anyway.
No.
Cut off the bad part.
Yeah,
like
he already
teeth.
took it. He already took it. Just cut your line
Yep.
sometimes.
Yep.
Oh Lord, that's
You
bad.
said we were going to talk about almost anything.
Yeah,
all
this
of it.
is- this is all good stuff,
You
right?
already got a couple of your nuggets in there. You've already got a couple of things of screen printing that you.
Yeah, we
That's-
did get the nuggets.
Well, that's what we like to do with
With
these
the nuggets?
podcasts. Just
Yeah,
talk
but-
about anything, everything, and we sprinkle in a little bit of screen printing and get some knowledge and all that stuff. And that's
Well,
just how it goes.
This is
We're not trying to be.
Yeah, this is the design. Like you put this on and you're printing in your little garage shop, and you just want to have something in the background.
Just
and
some
you-
chatter in the background.
Yeah, I will ask you a trivia question because there's only one right answer. When you're screen printing, what is the best song to be playing in the background? When
The
you're-
best song?
Yeah, the one that makes the most like yeah, this is the song.
I don't know.
And when I tell you, you'll be like, yeah, I get that.
There's only one answer, and it's in your head.
You could have another one, and I'll be like, yeah, I guess that works too. It isn't going to be something like "Love Stinks" by Jay Giles. Love stinks.
Jay Giles. I printed their shirts back in 1983.
That's awesome. They were, yeah, that was a badass. No anchovies, please. Is that?
I don't know all of them.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, that's a.
Was it Freeze Frame? Was that a song they did?
Yeah. Freeze frame. Angel is a centerfold.
Yeah.
Love stinks.
Yep.
Yeah.
All those songs are good screen printing songs. Because that's what I was
but
doing when I was listening to those songs.
No, this goes with just the very action of screen printing. This song was just like, yeah.
Lay it on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it?
It is Money by Pink Floyd because it has this dum dum and the
Dum,
press is turning
dum, dum.
and then you're like money because you know you're printing money, right? But you see how like mechanical it is?
Yeah. Start singing.
Money. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash. New car caviar. This is what made T-shirt millionaires,
Yes,
right?
yes, absolutely.
When you
Millionaires
print
at
it-
25
the song?
cents a piece.
Yeah, and you're
I don't
watching
know. We probably know the song if we heard it, but
that's the most overplayed Pink Floyd song. I can't even stand to hear it now because it's been so overplayed because it was a
Money.
radio hit.
Money.
But it's so mechanical, the way that the rhythm, the underneath, that it literally moves as your pressed indexes.
He talks about the rhythm. And I'm telling you, there's a rhythm.
It makes
and
sense.
the machines now that are silent and all electric,
Yeah.
I'm back when it was all air-driven Challengers from
Yeah.
M&R. It was like
yeah.
you had it going, and you knew.
Start
you knew
rap. You can just start rapping with it.
and when something's wrong,
could.
you knew because it was out of
yeah.
sync. Something
Yeah, you
was
were like,
happening.
what was that?
Yeah,
What was
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
You know.
I mean, when the first digital machines or the servo drive machines came out and the silence of them, they were scary.
Yeah.
They were scary because it was like the Teslas pulling up to a stop sign or up an alley, and you don't hear them coming. So same thing with the new servo drives that they're not new now, but when they came out, it was kind of like you need to like tell the guy across the way, hey, we're gonna go.
So you got into this industry, screen printing. I mean, that's.
I'm a screen printer. That is what I'm gonna hopefully retire. It looks like I'm gonna make it. So
So you're gonna do screen print on the side. Like, I mean, true.
I do stuff at home, like
Okay.
fine art and stuff like that. But
do you print posters or anything?
I
cool?
do a limited edition serigraphs. I won a golden squeegee back in 2015.
Did I guess this? I don't know that. I think that's where we kind of in our mind we're like, yeah, we've done it all. But if you get back to like printing flat like posters, screen printed posters are the shit.
Yeah, let me get to that. So, if I may.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, junior high, 13 years old, doing hand lettering type, leaded type, doing business cards, in a class. I still have all the old test prints that are in a folder at home. Get to high school, and I got went into the print class. I had a hip young teacher, and we were doing just getting into computer typesetting, and I didn't in hindsight, I just didn't like the water and oil, 10,000 sheets an hour type of printing. It was kind of just, set the machine and walk away.
Kind of boring.
And it was kind of boring. So I remember that. This is a story that I remember. So the teacher says, read this chapter about screen printing, and I think he went over it a little bit over the weekend, and we're going to discuss it on Monday. So on Friday, I got into the book a little bit, and I had my mom drive me down to downtown LA to, I believe it was even Nasser at the time, and bought a hand-cut emulsion and a screen and some air dry ink. And on Monday, took it to school, and the teacher's like, "What are you doing?" And everybody started talking about it, and the teacher's like, "Does anybody interested in this?" And everybody's like, "Yeah." So next thing I know, he got a grant. He was really a hip teacher, and he got a grant and got a little 4-color tabletop printer, and we were doing pot leaves and posters, and Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that on posters. And then we ended up doing the choir. We ended up doing a choir shirts for their next show, and that was it. And I was the T-shirt guy at the school.
Yes, the T-shirt
remember
guy.
You were talking about the T-shirt guy.
Yeah.
I heard those stories. I'm sure you got that in the can.
We've all
somewhere.
been T-shirt guys.
And
It
so
happens.
next thing I know, as soon as I had a work permit, I was cleaning screens at the local shop. I had a little moped and was running over there and was cleaning screens. at the
It
local
was
shop.
electric, of course. It was California. It was electric.
No, it was pre that. But it was a 2-stroke, so it was kind of smoky.
It was
actually.
it was nuclear.
Yeah. So that was the beginning of that. And next thing you know, first job I ever did professionally. Well, I was working for somebody, but being paid to do it. Remo drum heads, a light tan ink on a left chest, Remo drum heads. And
Wow.
I think it was 6 dozen, and I printed them all on the back shoulder.
Accidentally.
By accident.
Yeah.
That was my first job.
But you created a trend. Like, that's cool to do that. North Face stole that from you.
That's
They did.
So that was, it's the artistry of it.
Did you ever own your own shop? Or
Nope.
And that's why you probably do what you do, like at home when it's you, is because it gets back to the art. And I did that like I did a 1-screen challenge. And I'm like, if you could just, we all do this for money, but if you could just print a shirt for you. My sister wore it yesterday to the show. She stole it from me. I brought it to the show, but it's Betty White with the Dirty Harry 45. And I had to make it PG because I was putting it on our TikTok, and it says what did I put on the Betty shirt? It's like every rose has its thorn, because she was Rose. Where I wanted to put like "Don't F with Betty."
Oh, yeah, she was
and
fantastic.
Yeah, and somebody at work said like, you might want to. It was Caleb. You might want to PG that down, Mike.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay. And then he came up with that. But it was to the art. I wanted to print that like for me, one of a kind. I love one of a kind shirts.
Yeah. All the shirts in our booth, maximum 24 pieces it was the run. So I'm young. I've printed some shirts. I'm working on old Precisions and electric presses. And then I got another job, or I was looking for a job at a sign shop, doing like "You Are Here" in a hospital, or here's the exits, emergency exit, Dr. Smith over in this room. So I was interviewing for the job, and I was a screen printer. I'm a screen printer. I know everything there is to know about screen printer. I was 21 years old, somewhere around there. And the guy who interviewed me says, "Okay, let's go back here and set up this job for vinyl ink, is solvent-based ink." And I'm setting it up, and he's like, "Yeah, you're not going to work. We're going to have to start from scratch." And because it was about the off contact. and it wasn't necessary as much. It just didn't. The precision ovals would just kind of do it for you a little bit, right?
Just the way it peeled back.
Yeah, it just peeled back. So and the sign wasn't going to do that. And if it doesn't peel on the solvent-based ink, if it doesn't peel and finish in time,
it's bad.
It sticks, and you get a ring, and you're wiping it off and starting over. So this guy taught me. It was kind of a humbling.
Yeah.
Obviously it stuck with me, so it was humbling, and I realized I had more to learn.
I lost,
and I still do.
I lost some brain cells to that type of ink print on Coroplast, and I printed so many different substrates, circuit boards down in Arizona, the Wacom tablets or Wacom, how you want to call them. But yeah, screen printing. There's so many different. People don't understand it goes way beyond textiles.
Absolutely.
But to this day, like the coolest posters are screen printed posters. And back in the day, you could go to the show and there were lots of screen printed posters. They have a different look. They have a different feel. The quality though is there.
Right. I like it because it's human.
Yes.
There's somebody's DNA is on that paper.
Yeah.
They touched it. How many colors there were. That's how many times they touched it.
And the way the art is done when you print posters is different too.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's like this spot color type scenario.
Right.
But it's a beautiful form of art for sure.
I have a print in my dining room. It was from an artist called Kondakova, and it's a large 32 color scene from Paris.
Wow.
That was screen printed. And when people ask me, who don't really know me or haven't been in my house before, like, what do you do? Well, that's screen printing. No, it really? What? And I said, take a look.
You printed that?
And I did not print that. I was lucky enough back in 85, 86, 87 to work at a company called La Paloma, which was the screen printing division, serigraph division of Gemini, out in Melrose, California. That was an art publishing house. So I did work with some artists, Sam Francis, Lichtenstein, Jasper Johns, a lot of famous artists back then. And those large format prints on 100% cotton French rag paper, I learned that. I cut my teeth on that.
And those prints are worth a mint now.
Yeah, they were worth a mint then, and they're worth much more now. And you learn, when you're stretching 420 mesh, and it's 4 feet wide by 6 feet long.
It's like mosquito wings.
It is like, so you would stretch it, and you would go to lunch and just leave it there and let it relax. Because if you forced it to the newtons or the tension that you're looking for right off the bat, you're going to pop it every time. So you would stretch these things, go to lunch, put a couple more newtons on it, go do something else, keep doing that for a couple hours, and then you get a nice stable screen.
Yeah, we always in every shop I've been in, I've done this nickname where like the guy that breaks the screen, I call him, his name is Buster Screen or Papa Screen.
Papa Screen.
Yeah, there's Papa Screen. We had some guy come over. We had some guy, some guy that knew it all that we hired to print, and I shouldn't have hired him because he was dirty. Like he had tons of ink on him, and sometimes that can be good, sometimes that can be bad. Like when he came for the job, he still had like ink under his nails. But he's like, oh yeah, I can print all this stuff, and I was desperate. Sometimes you're desperate for guys. And then he went to help us do Newman roller frame, put him on the stretch tape. Oh yeah, I can do that. He became Papa Screen.
Papa Screen.
Yeah, and I never let him do it again. Like 4 screens in a row. He's like, I don't know why that happened, because you don't know what the hell you're doing.
The funny thing is that I all the screens and stuff that we have in our the screens that were used to make these prints. I didn't do them all, but I did a lot of them. I did my fair share. It's humbling.
Yeah.
It's humbling. There's patience, and it retrains you. It reminds you of things. It brings you back down to reality.
That's what happens when we do videos. I mean, I'm not always out in the printing area, but when we are doing videos, it brings me back so I can just it's like a refresh.
I mean, I truly enjoy that part of getting all the prints ready for the show.
Yeah, and that's why I was surprised, like when I met Ryan, I started doing videos, is that, like I'm going to print, that's who I am and stuff. And Ryan is not going to be denied. Like, he's like, hey, let's do this. And he's going to go out there and print. And on the supply side, like, he would never have to print a thing if he didn't want it. I don't even know how you have time to do it, but, and I have to be ready. Like come in and then, showtime type thing. So that gives him because he didn't come out of the printing industry, that lets him be in there to see, what we're going through.
Right. Well, I mean, along the lines of making the screens, I'm also using our product and seeing, in real life, in real time, how that flashed, how it felt. How it cleared the mesh.
And it makes you stronger when you go to the shops. And
exactly. I can talk in first hand and not what I heard, not third party.
Yeah. So this is going to, I'm surprised you haven't just like waved us down. Like, the hard drive is full.
Hit him with a question and then we can...
don't save the question for last. I don't want to
know on that. It is. I think you're going to like this. If screen... Okay. He's over there adjusting the microphone. He's like...
I'm getting ready.
He's getting ready.
on my toes.
Because, you'll try to answer it, and then Ryan's going to take a stab at it.
And I always fail, but go ahead.
Okay. And I read the question twice, because it usually,
Could you use that in a sentence?
This is a sentence, so yes. If screen printing is a collaborative art, how does this concept inspire us to foster meaningful connections and partnerships in our lives?
All right, I didn't hear the first word correctly. It's
collaborative. I may not be able to say it 2 or 3 times.
All right,
once I get a word out,
what's the root word?
What's the root word? If screen printing is a collaborative art, how does this concept inspire us to foster meaningful connections and partnerships in our lives?
You collaborate and then you get married. You meet someone and...
No. I think we're collaborating all day long. When you buy your coffee, when you pump gas, when you wait and watch somebody go across the street while you're at the stoplight, it's constant collaboration. And this woman right here walking by, we're part of her life today. She looked at us and walked by.
She has no clue.
Right, but she did look at for a second, and
so we're collaborating with her right now.
Absolutely. Hey, you.
Is
that the best one?
Gosh, the people keep getting better. But,
well, let me just tell you real quick. Hard drive full?
No, we're good.
No.
Okay, they mentioned it. I don't know how this works.
I was.
Okay, so we are artists all day long. The moment we wake up, whether it's on the left side or the right side, we step our right foot down, left foot down. The temperature of our shower, how we do everything in our life.
Cook your eggs.
We are artists. We're creating art. This is how I'm going to go here right now.
Okay.
So when we die and we're in a box and there's people standing over us, they have a picture in their head of the memory of you. And you painted that picture all day long, every day, your interaction with them.
And we're screen printing those pictures.
Yeah. This is when he was saying that, I started to chuckle because I thought,
okay, where are you going?
This is so bad. But the Buddha side of me said, yeah, I created some art this morning, and then I flushed it.
Okay, so
it's part of it.
Because
he just didn't say it.
Okay, because he shared that with us.
Yeah,
he is an artist.
Thank you.
You created it in your brain and you shared it with us.
It was some performance.
So you created it in your brain, and so
it was performance art that I was proud of.
So what he's getting
he works for you, by the way.
I may never work again in this industry after this.
What he said was good.
Yeah,
you ruined it.
Yeah, no, I really do believe it. I mean, we're painting a stroke of one brush stroke every day we live. And at the end of the day, the end of the year, and in our lives, is it a bright picture? Is it a pleasant picture to look at? Yeah. Or is it nasty and ugly to look at and people walk away?
Do you believe, though, that as individuals that we are just a collaboration of everyone we meet and touch and feel? Like we're...
Just like when you look at an ant farm. We're touching each. They communicate by scent and touch, and they follow each other, and they're all in this world together.
Is this Mike, like you would say, the Matrix? Like we're all just in this.
My sister flew in from San Jose, and we're close. And I told her, I'm like, Jen, you got to steer me straight here because I could be going off the deep end. But I'm more and more I'm thinking this could be a simulated reality. That's true.
I'm kind of the opposite of that. I'm a little bit more organic.
Yeah, just by your answer to his question, yeah. It kind of like what's in the movie of Forrest Gump when the feathers floating by?
Yeah,
it's just like we're just all
Floats
floating.
away.
It's moving away. We're moving on.
We're all just floating by.
That was a small little story, and we're going to move on, and it's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I really do believe it. We talk about digital, analog, direct to screen, all these forms of direct to garment, all these other forms but I'm pulling a squeegee.
Yeah.
It's an art form.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what hooked me was that it was this art.
I kind of refer to like butter on toast. We're putting butter on toast every day, all day long. Now we can crush the toast and do it incorrectly, but you're still eating.
So the butter is my underbase, and then I put the jelly on top.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Okay, now you got a gel. You put a gel on top of the butter.
Yeah.
Now you're into specialty printing. Now you can charge more.
You got a 3D thing going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have a form of toast. It's called extreme toast. It's butter and then peanut butter and then grape jelly or whatever you have, whatever flavor, and then pink sugars on top of that.
So my mom would put sugar mixed with cinnamon on top of the buttered toast.
Yeah.
That was the breakfast of champions when I was growing up.
Breakfast of champions.
It wouldn't be toasted. It wouldn't be a biscuit with the butter and the cinnamon or sugar on that.
Okay, so that's your side of the country.
Yeah. With the glass of sweet tea.
We have grits down there and sweet tea. The South is definitely a different place.
Yeah.
And the first thing I learned was when someone says "bless your heart."
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, they're saying you're an idiot.
Well, my youngest daughter and her family just moved to Savannah, Georgia, and I have yet to visit them yet. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's nice. It's a good area.
That's where they talk like Foghorn Leghorn, or is that Charleston? Is Charleston like Foghorn Leghorn?
I don't understand that, the Foghorn Leghorn.
Well, kind of like the governor of South Carolina. Is it McMaster? He's like, I'm your governor, and I'm proud to be.
Proud to be your
proud.
governor.
It sounds like he come from the Civil War and shit. I mean, he's like seriously.
Like the guy who passed away, Leslie, whatever. Never mind. I'm trying to think of the voice. Of Foghorn or whatever.
I said I'm a chicken hawk.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got you now.
Can we do a whole podcast where we just do like impressions?
I said I'm a chicken hawk.
If we have time, we're doing a separate podcast. Nothing to do with screen printing. We're just going to do voices. I'm going to whip out.
Well, so he answered your question perfectly, and it led into another 10 minutes. So that was good. I think that's a winner so far, or winner out of your 23 or 24 that we've done, and that's the best one.
Yeah.
The best answer?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, and there were some good ones. Some people surprised me, and the Bruce Basin one. Yeah. Now there was one that almost brought me to tears, but yours was more like
depth.
Yeah, I mean it was more. It resonated more. I was like, yeah, gosh, man. In California always surprises me. I've only been there a couple times, but the first time I came to California, I went to Jen, my sister's house, and she showed me like Boulder Creek, I think, tiny little town, and I met people. Hey, this is my brother, and I had conversations. Obviously I'm good at conversing, and after the third person thanked me for the conversation, I'm like, what's going on? I've never heard that in my life. Like, hey, I just appreciate and thank you for the conversation. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Yeah, what is that a California thing? It was just a weird sort of Like that's different from what I was used to.
I don't think that's a California thing.
It's not. Is it Boulder Creek?
At Boulder Creek.
It was. They were all like hippies and probably on legal stuff, mind you.
I mean, I know that I probably embarrass some of my people that I'm with sometimes when you go to a restaurant and you have a conversation with the waitress, and that's part of the artistry that I was talking about. Whereas like we're all we're equal, and how are you doing today? They're like, what? Can I take your order? Oh, okay, Susan. They're like, how do you know my? Oh, yeah. It's like we're having a conversation, and people in California are like startled. It's like, he's talking to me. I don't know what to do. I mean, because they're normal. We're known for being a little cold,
Yeah, I do that. My wife, I embarrass my wife for sure, and she doesn't even see the real stuff. Like if I'm out alone and I go to a restaurant, and I have full on, I'm giving her life advice or whatever the waitress
without being asked.
Yeah. And she'll walk up and she goes, just one? And I'm like, no, I love me, my friend Harvey here. Harvey, please say hello to the nice lady.
Or they'll say, what can you have? I don't know. We're going to have 2 coffees and a thing. Do you need anything? And they're like, they don't know the reply,
Yeah. I love people. I love,
I think, empathy.
Yes.
I think we learn that. I don't think, life experiences teaches that, and everybody, there's a lot of homeless in California, and, we don't like it, and I think it also scares us all because we're only one event away from possibly being there, mentally or whatever, and we're not, so it scares me sometimes too.
Yeah, that's the industry my sister was in. She was like CEO of this technology company that was trying to help solve that for California. So, so that, I
mean, I think there's a lot of people making a lot of money trying to solve something and not getting it done. Sorry. I told her I didn't want to get into politics.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a tough problem.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough. There's no, blanket answer, I think.
No. And that's where I learned empathy, It's like, we're all breathing the same air, and
those guys heard me. Like when we see people outside, I'm just like, gosh, I want to ask that person if they're okay. I mean, it hits me,
Yeah, Long Beach has its fair share on the street.
Yeah,
talking to some air.
It affects me because I don't want to see anybody like that. In that situation.
I remember I was seeing a girl for a little while, and we ended up going through downtown, looking for some garment industry. I forget what it was, but and they said, why don't they all just get a job? And I'm like, I don't think it's as simple as that, And I had just gotten through a divorce and everything, and I'm like, I could see how far or how close that could be to everybody.
Yeah.
You're one event away.
All right. Well, Kieth, it was a pleasure. Thanks for coming on, talking with us. It was a good all-around conversation.
Great. A Sunday Conversation with Kieth will be the title of this
that's a good one.
podcast.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, thank you guys for the invite. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.